Hey guys, welcome to the stream. I hope you guys having a good evening. So today, let me start with the fact that the entire community has been more than helpful and stood up for me, and it's been a great help that all you guys you helped me on threads on Reddit. You made the post go viral. So this post got like almost 27.8k views. So I would like to thank you genuinely for showing all your support in the comments and your direct messages and everything. Thank you very much for, again, all your support. And on Reddit as well, you guys did amazingly well by actually standing up for me and for the platform. So just wanted to give you a quick update while I'm pushing a small thing on the back end. The platform is pretty much almost ready to be open source. I just need to remove things that don't really add up, like pricing and other things that are not part of it, as well as some restrictions that the end product has, so that you can actually run App2 locally on your machine, or you can run it anywhere else you want. So that's sort of the plan, but it's taken a bit of time to restructure the code base so it's pretty much open source. So in today's stream, I just want to go through this update and also show you how App2 works and what you guys are going to see pretty much very soon on the App2 repository. I'm currently pushing an update, so it won't be long. But it's already there. So I guess we can actually start. So this is App2, and I can also bring Lovable as a side comparison, so you guys can see it side by side. There we go. So what I've done over the past few months, for those who are tuning in and haven't gotten up to date with what is happening. So over the past few months, I've been working on gathering as much feedback as possible on behalf of Lovable customers. I've been interviewing them. I've been talking to V0 and Bolt customers and trying to find out what their pain points are. So some of the issues that these people were facing were they couldn't do the Figma designs turn the Figma designs into mobile apps, for example, and things like that. So there were a lot of issues that people were facing on Lovable and on V0 and other platforms. So what I've been doing is gathering their feedback and building up a case of what needs to be done. There were a lot of frustrated customers and other people who were regular users, so to speak, of Lovable and other platforms that were having some issues. Now, after compiling all the feedback, creating pretty much a Lovable alternative, I applied to join Lovable as a forward deployed engineer. It's one of their roles. Here, let me show you. Lovable forward deployed engineer should be, here we go into the careers. So it is this position right. Oh, where is it? Oh, is it gone? Oh no, it's here. It's here. Forward deployed engineer. So what they were looking for effectively is for somebody who has experience building, shipping full stack products. So if you read here, you need to have that 5 years of experience. You need to be proficient in front end, in React, TypeScript, and be able to build robust backends, ability to prototype, talk to customers, build what they want, interact with them. It's all part of the job description, so to speak. Yeah. So before that role was even available, what I was doing is pretty much what was described in this role. So I did that as a frustrated Lovable customer who have not been having the features that I want. And there was actually a portal called feedback.lovable.dev, which is now no longer operational, but it was a place where people could go and talk about what issues they have with Lovable, what they would like to see, and so on and so forth. And what I noticed is that the focus from the team, for whatever reason, was on the wrong things. So I tried to sort of prove a point that there must be some sort of change done and some improvements. So what I've been doing over the past 6 months is gathering feedback from these people. I mean, from the customers. I don't mean that in any bad way. And trying to prove a point that this is exactly what people want. So I built that into what is called App2.dev. I launched it on Product Hunt. I launched it here on around October 20th or 25th. I don't remember. Let me show you guys. So yeah, October 20th. So I launched it on Product Hunt and it became pretty much overnight success. I've gotten over 300, almost 400 users over the period of 3 weeks, and it got built into pretty much a very nice and robust, lovable alternative. Now, what am I trying to get to? What's the point I'm trying to make? I've started this whole journey with one thing in mind, to further the vibe coding industry and to make it into something better, into something that people actually want, and not just build it, but also validate it that it actually works. And I did the validation bit, and there were actually people using it, that actual live customers. Once I've done this and I launched, within about less than a few weeks, I applied for the forward deployed engineer role. And I was waiting for a few weeks since then. So that was October, then November. So from November to December, I was waiting sort of for a reply to come from Lovable. Like I would not have expected at least an interview to just go over what I've done, and if not getting a job offer, at the very least exchange some opinions or like share some feedback. Yeah, because if you've been working on this for 6 months and you've done something and you actually got an validation, and you go to the people who you got the feedback from and you tell them, there you go, I would like to come and help you bring all this direct from customers. The thing is, I didn't get the time of day. And this is the whole thing that started right over here. Yeah, I've got this rejection letter, this generic rejection letter that we were genuinely impressed by your background and appreciate your interest in joining the team, but it's the classic, unfortunately, we decided not to move forward with your application. So just to be clear, there was no interview, okay? I didn't even get the chance to go to them and to tell them, hey guys, okay, I don't know if you want to hire me, or if at least go through the interview and share some feedback. Yeah, I could tell them, okay, here are the few things that need improvement, and so on and so forth. At the very least, it would have been nice to have a courtesy of an interview. That's all I'm trying to say. Now, the thing is, this was quite devastating, and I shared it on social media and it got picked up, and thank you very much for all your support, guys. However, what I want to do today in this stream is actually showcase what I've built. Yeah, because although I had about almost 400 users testing the platform, there's nearly twice as many that have joined over the past couple of days on the waiting list to pretty much express interest into the open sourcing of App2. Yeah, so here's what I've built, and it's not going to be a very long stream. I'm just going to show you some overviews of key features that have been implemented, and that's pretty much it. And then I can probably talk to you in the comments or something. Right, so one of the first things that were quite a bit of an issue was that Lovable customers could not build mobile applications. Yeah, there was no support for mobile applications. So I addressed that by actually introducing that. Here, it's called mobile app. So all you have to do is press the button, mobile app, and you put in your prompt. I want a simple Pomodoro. Come on. Timer up. You press the button and it will build you the mobile app. So that was one of the key concerns for Lovable customers, that they could not build a mobile app. They can build a web app, but they want to build a mobile app. Yeah. The other concern was that they could not bring their Figma designs to life. Yeah. There's one particular limitation, and that's purely because Lovable relies on third-party integration in terms of Figma. So they don't have any native integration built into their platform that would allow them to do something bespoke, something custom. So that was another issue that the customers had. And what I've done to sort of address this is sort of build my own system that doesn't rely on any third-party tooling. It actually uses the Figma endpoints API and also uses the LLMs behind the scenes, and it builds it. And I'm going to show you right now. If you press the import button, I can connect with my Figma account. So all you have to press is allow access. Yeah. And now you're back here, and all you need to do is just paste the Figma URL. I have an example Figma URL that I can show you. So I've gotten this one from UI 8, and I can just paste it here, and hopefully everything works well and it doesn't crash on live stream, because I've been doing a few changes to open source it, so I hope I didn't introduce any bugs. So immediately what happens is that it tries to fetch the template, and then it tries to analyze the screens and components, and all that runs in the background as a background job using trigger dev. So if we go here, it now has been queued and will run the job in the background. I haven't run it for a while, that's why it's doing a cold start at the moment. Let me just refresh and see when it's going to be picked. It's not yet executing. Okay, it's executing. There you go. So it fetched, let me just zoom it in a bit. So it fetched the design. It found out that there's 15 frames in it. It's going to start creating the Figma project. It's going to start storing the Figma scenes and images. It's going to start parsing all these things. And this is all built with native Figma API endpoints. There's no third-party integration or anything like that. What it's going to do behind the scenes is very eloquent. It's going to go through all your screenshots, and all your scenes. And it doesn't matter if it's like 10, 15, 20, or 50, or 100 frames, right? All it's going to do is it's going to take longer if you have more frames, yeah? And now it starts to analyze the image sequence. There you go. Look how lovely this is. Well, it's lovable. Look how lovable this is. It's very lovable because, well, it's starting to analyze all the scenes. And as they are being analyzed, it lets you know that, okay, that's scene 1 analyzed, scene 2 analyzed, and it knows what the scenes are. And even better, it doesn't only know what your scene images are. It's not just, let's say, you drag and drop a Figma picture and you get like the LLM to describe what it is. It actually understands the context and the link between each of the scenes. As you can see here, the next step would be to generate the scene context. So again, I just want to reiterate. All of this has been a 6+ months of work that's been happening over the past, that has been implemented, well, pretty much over the past 6 months. I'm just repeating myself. So it comes directly from Lovable customers. It's like literally they told me, okay, I have an issue. I can't take my Figma design and make it into an app. It's as simple as that. It doesn't get any simpler. If I put a Figma design, it just does one scene, and then I can't even go to the next one and do something else. and I have to just take a screenshot, move it, and prompt it. Here, you don't need any prompting. You don't need to prompt it to, oh, can you tell me what's the link between one scene and another scene and all that kind of stuff. You really don't need to. Everything happens behind the scenes. It's like magic, yeah? So it's now analyzing the scenes, and and you can see here, it tells you which scene has been analyzed as the latest. And if you check the name here, the scenes, sign up, forgot password, onboarding step 1, onboarding step 2, step 3, they are all, let me get here, they are all from the actual Figma design. I mean, how eloquent is that? It's very, very eloquent, very simple, and it doesn't require you to waste credits to try and explain what scene 1 does, what scene 2 does, and you don't have to be taking screenshots, you don't have to be copy-pasting things. It's just a smart way of orchestrating the whole thing. So you get the entire thing done. Now, the next step, once it finishes parsing and analyzing all the scenes, is the Figma storyboard. Yes, that's another thing that I've created, is that once you have all this, before you even tell it to start building something, you really need to sort of approve on whether what the AI understood about your project is correct. Yeah? And I'll show you in a moment once it finishes analyzing the scenes and generating the context. It's a very nice setup. So that was a very key component of feedback that Lovable customers were receiving, genuinely. And although Lovable didn't give me the courtesy of an interview, I'll take this as a chance to give them this feedback and just release App2 to the open source. And if they want to copy it and make it, that's absolutely fine. They can go ahead and do all that. That's all right. But here, that is what I'm going to show you now. So you see, as I was talking, it actually did all the parsing, all the analysis, and look how nice and beautiful this is. Well, you have what appears to be part of the splash screen, part of the onboarding, authentication. It understood the scenes. Sometimes it might not do something correct. So I intentionally sort of broke it so that I can show you that in case you don't see something that is correct, you can fix it. So let me choose one scene. Let me choose this one. So if I press on the scene right here, it's the splash screens. There's the forgot password OTP. So let me choose forgot password. On the right hand side, let me zoom in. Look, you have the scene context for the front end. You have the one for the back end. It understood perfectly well what this screen is about. It knows all the requirements it needs to build to you. Again, if you were to do this on Lovable, if you were to do this on Bolt or V0 or anywhere else, you would have to spend credits to describe the relationship between each scene and try to use, I don't know, try to find the best way to format a prompt to make it understand things, and you can't really plan it well and all that. You don't need to do that with App2. Yeah, you don't need to do that with App2. App2 does it for you. And of course, if it doesn't get something right, which is only natural, it's AI generated. I mean, it's AI parts. If it doesn't get something right, yeah, you don't have to worry about it because you can just edit it. Look, I press here, I can just edit something. I can remove it, I can delete this, and I can write my own context. And that's it, that's done. I can edit it anytime. I can also map relationships. So the forgot password scene is also mapped to the OTP verification because it's going to send you an email to reset the password. You're going to get a verification code to reset the password. That would be what would happen in the app. And if that's not correct, if it for some reason that was not correct interpretation, you can always go ahead and change the relationship. So what is the relationship of this scene with another scene? And what type of relationship? Is it a navigation, modal, tab, back, if you want to go back, or is it deep link or something else? Or you can delete it entirely if it's incorrect. So it's very eloquent. And now for people who are designers, what they would like to have is not just the ability to take their design and make it into an app. It's to actually have also some control over it. Yeah. Awesome. Exactly, Matthias. Context is key. And that's where I'm leading to, Matthias. The context. Now, you get to decide what's the layout structure, what's the component inventory. You can list all the components here, every single component with all the characteristics, height, background, font size, everything is all here. Visual specifications, what colors you have, what's your color palette, what's your interaction patterns, mobile guidance, if you want to do something different in terms of flow, UI warnings, if there's a status bar on the top or not. It's like, it lets you do a lot of eloquent stuff. You have quality standards, you have implementation priority, like what should you start with first? Because the more guidance you give to the LLM, the more sort of accurate, depending on few cases, but let's talk about the flagship models, the more accurate they're gonna create and generate the depiction of what you wanted to build. Yeah. So this gives the LLM everything you need. So whereas on Lovable, you would have to write everything by hand. You have to say, I want you to use this color. Of course, now they have the design thing, but I mean, they have the design template design system or something like that. They call it something like that. They have it now. They released it like maybe a couple of weeks ago or something, which is a good piece of thing. It's nice, but it still doesn't give you granular control. Yeah, and you have all this. This is just for one scene. Literally, you have back end, front end, you have all the this is just for one scene. If I want to go through the onboarding steps, and these are the onboarding, it understood that these are onboarding steps. It's literally here. The onboarding step 1 screen serves as the initial user introduction to the onboarding process. I didn't do anything, guys. I didn't do anything aside from I copied this. I copied this URL. I logged in with my Figma, because you can log into App2 with your Figma account. I logged into Figma. I copied one of the designs that I bought from UI8, and it built me the entire context and relationships of every single component that is present. It understood everything that is on there, and it lets you have enough granularity to be able to switch between things. And here you can just go ahead, rearrange. So, for example, let me give you an example. If I feel like the order is not correct, I can just drag and drop it. Magic. Project loaded successfully, continue. Okay, that may be a different message there. But now the order is different. The context has changed. And you don't have to write it with words. Oh, now I want you to do this scene to be the second scene or the third scene or the fourth scene or the fifth scene. You just drag and drop it. That's it. That's the granularity. That is the kind of feedback I wanted to go and give to Lovable. I want to go to this guys. Well, sorry, it might not sound well to say this guy. I want to go to Lovable and tell them, hey guys, look, I've built all this. Give me a chance. Give me like 10 minutes of your time. I could show. It's been like 30 minutes since I started the live. I've been on starting soon for like 15 minutes. It's been 15 minutes conversation, and that's already something. If it was available on Lovable, their ARR would have gotten like 2x now. We're talking now. Just by having this feature. Yet, well, I know people are going to say I'm a bit salty. There you go. It's like, you want to go give it to the guys and tell them about that, and they don't want it. Okay, so it detected as one empty category. There's no scene in that. Probably some, because I haven't maintained this in the past month. So maybe I've introduced a small bug. I can just delete the category and it's gone. I can press looks good and build this. Cool. So here I have an incomplete relationship. Brand logo, iOS native. Please relate all screens and complete now. Let me see if I can do that. Oh, probably this one. I don't need it. I can delete the scene I don't need, and it gives a confirmation. Very nice UI. That gives a confirmation I want to delete the scene, and then I want to delete the group. and I probably don't need this because it probably passed things that this is just the typography and some basic things, so I can delete those. These don't have relationships, and rightfully so, because they're sort of irrelevant parts of the project. And I can press looks good, continuing to project, and it's now going to start building the project, guys. It's magic. It's literally gonna start. Look, it's spinning wheel here. Look at the spinning wheel, continuing to project. So it's starting to build the project. And what's crazy about this whole setup is that this storyboard that you see here, you actually have it at the point, you can also have it at the point of building the project. So not only the storyboard is before you start building the project, but it's also after you've started building the project. Look, you have your scenes here. You can go through your scenes, and you have a whole Figma storyboard here. Look at this. Look at this magic. This is extra 10 million ARR. This is extra 10 million ARR for Lovable. Look. Fantastic magic. I mean, this, like the funny thing about this whole thing is that this all could have been part of Lovable, yeah? I mean, if they hired me. If they didn't hire me, they could have just copied it, yeah? They could have just said, oh, sorry, we don't feel like you're a good fit, but thank you for the interview. But there was no interview in the first place. So there was no chance at all to even present this to them. I mean, are we at this point in the industry where somebody does a lot of great work, they even want to give it to you for free, and you're like, nope, I'm not even going to even give you a chance to even have to speak your mind, yeah? Because look at this, look at it. It's not that much different. I mean, in terms of the setup, it's not much different than this. Maybe there's some nicer UI. Well, I have to say that. Thank you very much, Hall. So it's just building its thing. It's showing you your reasoning process and everything. And here you can switch between scenes that you want to work on. You can mark scenes complete or not. I'll show you the storyboard just in a moment. So it's building great stuff. Great stuff. You can show your different here and a lot of things that are being coded and programmed. There's a whole lot of things here, and you can, so some things require your permission. So it's going to create it for you. Now, while this is happening in the background, yeah, we are talking about a whole separate set of features. Yeah, you can go ahead and you can also enable predictive prompting. Predictive prompting allows you to sort of, once it finished compiling its own thing and generating its own thing, what it's going to do is it's going to give you suggestions, what to build next. You don't have to think, okay, let me type another prompt. What are you going to build next? It does it for you. And let me show you the example. This is predictive prompting, yeah? And this is how it looks. I'll show you now. Yeah. So it shows you what to build next. Pretty much implement splash screen component with bitness logo. It knows those scenes. It knows those frames. It knows the design. It knows everything about your Figma project. So if you press here, sorry, let me just zoom it in. It's on the left hand side. Let me move my let me move this away a bit. Let me put this in the middle. There we go. Oh, where did I put it? Where is it gone? Oops. I think I moved it away. Let me put it back. Okay, let me go back to the project. Resume, edit. Oh, it's here. Cool. I don't know why I'm glitching right now. It's when you decide to live stream, that's when all these things happen. Right, so what I was talking about is this button here. It says Open Figma Storyboard. You press that and you get back to the same storyboard thing. And now here, you can manage the completion status. You can decide whether you have completed something or not. And give me a moment, I think my computer is running out of juice. I need my charging cable. There you go. Sorry about that. I need my charging cable. There we go. Talking about being prepared for a stream. Cool. Right. So I can mark a scene completed. I can mark a scene not completed. I can decide what I want. If a scene is no longer applicable, I can just delete it. So I have that at my fingertips at any time. I can change the table view. Now, this part is because of this splash screen. So it was the very first thing that it started working on. And also there's a thing called preparing a simplified version. Now, the simplified version is a very neat feature that tries to explain it in simple terms to non-technical users. So you have a technical and simple variation. So it will generate, once you finish with the technical, it will generate a simple explanation of what happened. Yeah. And if we go through the chat here, you can see a lot of different stuff that have been happening through the coding agent. You can even explore through the list of things, and you can also go to files here and see what was created. If I go to, let's say, where is it? Source, components. I've got screens here. Yeah, it's screens for React Native. And this fully React Native app, I mean, it means that if you export this and you run it, it's going to be a complete mobile app on iOS. Simple as that. Simple as that. But here, I've created some very nice navigation so you can actually go through the code and see what was generated. And if you want to reference this file, you just press the button here, reference in chat. And it's been added as a reference to the chat. Let me zoom it in. Where's it? Here. I think I need to move it again. Yeah, there we go. Is a reference. Now, you might have used Cursor before, or Windsurf or anything. One other issue that Lovable customers had was the chat component was not really very useful. Yeah, let's go here. Let me go here and say, can you build example bookshelf? I don't know. I'm just posting stuff. I don't know if it's going to even let me. Now, if I want to reference a file, there's nothing. I press Add. I can't reference a file. I can press the plus button. There's nothing to reference. So you can't reference files. Fine. You can't reference pages. Fine. You can't reference scenes. Fine. Like you can't do anything other than take a screenshot, add it, and maybe it will understand things for you, which is not really the best thing that you can do. Yeah. And I'll get onto the next feature in a moment, but bear with me. So what I've done is I've built what Cursor has, an add reference. So if you press the add symbol, once this loads, it's loading a bit slowly because I haven't booted any cache systems yet. See how nice and fabulous this is. It knows all your files. It knows all your rule sets and documentations and all that kind of stuff. It knows your integrations, and I'll walk through that in a moment. It knows everything. So if I wanted to reference a file or an icon, I can just press it, and it knows what kind of reference this is. It's not just random. It knows it's an asset adaptive icon.png, and you can say like, please delete this. And if you send this, the LLM, the coding agent, will know behind the scenes and will do it for you. And if you want to remove. And you can have multiple references. I'll show you right now. I can reference the agent's MD, follow this spec, and delete, I don't know, maybe a file. There you go. And you can see this is a document, this is a file, that one is rule set, and it's that. Now, I mean, I'm walking through a lot of things, and this is not even 10%. And none of these features are on Lovable. And it's been we've been talking for half an hour about features that are not on Lovable, yeah? So, The other one that I want to show you is this little drop down. Very nice drop down. Look at it. You can build, plan, review, debug, and help you with documentation. I mean, if you ever wanted more granularity in terms of what agent or what kind of task you want to perform, I mean, that's self-explanatory. If you go on Lovable, you just have chat. You can chat or not chat. Chat means it's not going to try to run any code. It's just going to talk with you, and you can try and maybe plan something with it. Yeah? Chat without making edits to your project. Now, plan mode is similar, but it's more robust. There's more logic behind it. So it's going to create a whole plan of things you need to do for this particular scene, for example. So you can also do review. It's going to review your code base. It's going to debug. It's for debugging issues. So it's an agent focused on debugging. And you also have, I might need to remove this tooltip because when I press it, it comes over the docs. But you can also have documentation. So it's going to do it's going to be able to document. Now, before I move to the chat sessions, and it feels like I'm pitching the whole software, but that's what this whole live stream is about. Before I move to the chat sessions, which I'll explain in a moment what that is. What if you don't know how to phrase things? Yeah, not everyone is very good at prompting. Yeah, so Lovable's approach was creating a prompting guide. Well, some people actually liked it. There were also a couple of people who didn't really find it useful because Lovable had sort of what you would say a brain of its own. Yeah, it would do sort of its own things, even though you said it to do that. Yeah. So what I've created here is a prompt enhancement, and this is something credits to Bolt, where credits are due. This is something that Bolt offers to an extent. They allow you to improve whatever prompt you have. So if I said I would like to have multiple logos on my splash screen. Yeah? But this is some generic idea that you want, but you're not sure. You need a bit of help with what you exactly mean. If you press enhance your prompt with AI suggestions, it's going to take this, what you typed, and it's going to understand. As you can see, it understands what's your app. It understands what's your logo. It understands what you want to do, and gives you a nice suggestion. This all has been enhanced from just that 6 words that I've typed there. Like, I can't control Z, but yeah, but you saw what I typed. I typed like six words, forming a sentence of something that I want to do, and it actually generates a proper understanding. And look, I didn't add this. I mean, it's all been auto-generated. Now that we covered these 2 features, let's go on to another flagship move, which is chat sessions. Very, very big problem on Lovable is that, you see here, I can chat forever. Let me find another project that I've done. I want to illustrate this point very clearly. The point that I'm trying to make, the point that I'm trying to make is that you only have one chat area on Lovable, only one. And that means everything you try to talk and discuss is going to be limited in context the more you develop. And this is where heavy users have been having issues from what I've asked. Well, based on the research I've done, and I've asked them, people who have burned hundreds or thousands of dollars worth of credits, and they have big projects. Context gets lost or renewed, and so on and so forth. Yeah. What can I show? Okay, this one. This is one of the projects. Look. Now, there's no way to change a session. There's no way to change context. Here, everything is in one place, and I'm pretty sure they have a very smart system behind the scenes that actually compacts things as you move along, and you have sort of you have summaries of summaries of summaries adding on top together, but that does not help the LLM. Yeah, why have a bunch of summaries of summaries of summaries when you have session dedicated to specific task? That was sort of a solution to many people's problems, especially the heavy users ones. I'm talking about people who spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on Lovable and other platforms. So what's the solution to this? The solution to this, actually, what Cursor did very well, and Windsurf and other IDEs, is to actually let you create new chats. Simple as that. It's the most simple thing you can do. Create new chat with new context and copy and use the previous chat's context if it's relevant, which is what I've done here. There you go. So this is add Figma file to input to onboard. This was the onboarding thing. You can see it was 3 minutes ago, 3 messages. Yeah. If I want to create a new session, there we go. New session. And I also kept the inherit context from current session. So that means everything I've built in my previous session has been compacted. Now is going to be used here, pretty much, in this particular case. And is a new chat. So go ahead, do what you want with fresh context. Well, I mean, you have enough a big enough context window, yeah. Because let's be real, behind the scenes, what is happening? You always need to have a context window. It's not like you can put 10 million tokens in a single context and compact it. Like that's not lovable, is it? So that would have been another suggestion. That comes directly from Lovable customers. That comes directly from them. It's their frustrations addressed. And this is not just a demo. This is real platform. I've had almost 400 users. I had paying users. I had people paying for memberships to try for the early access. This is not just a show thing. It's actually working. So you can go ahead and start typing something new, and it will start building it. And it's as simple as that. If you want to switch back to your previous conversation chat, that's fine. Just press here. There you go. Done. I'm back to my previous chat. So I always get to have enough free context to operate with, and everything is quite nicely structured. So if I'm building something, and I can also rename the conversation. I can say, oops, let me try here. I think, I don't know, something like this. I can save it. Oops, request failed 405. Well, I've got a bug to fix. But the idea is like you can rename it, and if you don't want that context anymore, you can just delete it. So it will give you a warning that you can delete that session, and that session is gone and will revert back to your default session. Again, very, very useful feature. This would save a lot of money from Lovable customers. And I believe a better experience with Lovable would have been more beneficial. I mean, even financially wise, even though they would burn a bit less credits, but they would stay customers for longer. So it would reduce churn. It's something I could have brought up in an interview if there was one, because again, there you go. Without even an interview, I mean, guys, what are we talking about? Yeah. So, yeah. And now we've covered the almost 15-20% of what App2 does. Cool. We have the files, we have the preview, and now speaking of the preview, let me just open this up like that. Let me go to another project and show you something that I have ready. Let me talk to you about sandbox and production environments. Very, very concerning problem for many serious users of Lovable. For serious users, we're talking about serious people who want to build serious companies, yeah? Whenever you build something there, it usually goes sort of straight to production, yeah? So the key issue here is that you might not want it to, yeah? And you might also want to be able to have a sandbox environment that you can manage, restart, get it unstuck. Because one issue that I've noticed across all vibe coding platforms is that something gets stuck, something doesn't work, yeah? And you can't really go and restart it and do things with it. So it doesn't really help you out. So let me just create a simple project here. Create a simple Pomodoro timer, just to give you an example of how it's running behind the scene. Well, it's like you can't restart your sandbox. Something gets stuck. You are in an endless loop of frustration. So the solution here is to have a live and a sandbox variation. So live would be whatever you decided to push to production and is accessible by everyone. It's visible publicly. And sandbox is something you can control. You can restart it, you can destroy it and recreate it and do other things. It's to give more flexibility, more access, more flexibility for people to be able to interact with the actual system. And that's exactly what I built. And once this finishes building, I'll show you how it looks. Because it's very important to give people all the sort of flexibility they require to be able to perform various tasks. Yeah. Okay, let me see if this is gonna, yeah, cool. It just started things. So I'll show you. It's at the bottom here. You see this nice little bar. I don't think you can guys see it. Let me remove it here. It's here. It says preparing. And there's a circle here and there's a sandbox status here. Oop. There we go. Look how nice this is. So you press on this button here, and you can see that the sandbox has started, but your preview has not loaded. The most recent update is now. Then you can restart your sandbox if something got stuck. If you tried that and it didn't work, you can just create a new instance. It will delete the old one, create a new one. You might lose some files, but it will warn you. Very good UX. You press recreate and it says this is a more disruptive operation than restart. So if restarting does not work, you experience persistent sandbox issues, or the environment appears corrupted, you just recreate the sandbox and create a new instance, and that's it. And you're good to go. Like, you're literally good to go. And that's it. I mean, in edge cases, you might want to contact support and so on, but that's not the case that we have here. So once it finished refreshing the preview and creating, I'll show you exactly. Here, look at this. You've got a bar called Sandbox Preview. If you press that, you can switch between the Sandbox Preview and the Live Preview. And if you notice here, you have a preview.app2.io link. I mean, this one would probably be changed to something that's more relevant to your case. However, you can also go to Live Preview, which is the hosted version, which is hosted on Vercel. You can see that the domain has changed here, and you can swap between both. Easy as that. That's how you swap between the two modes. And that's it. And it gives you, again, the chance to restart the sandbox or recreate it. And we'll do that. You got a share preview button here. You can just link this to your friends. You can share a preview. You have a QR code to scan to open on your mobile. You have an export button here, which will download the project files with all the relevant environment variables and all that kind of stuff. And here you get to see how many credits it costs, but there's not going to be credits on the open source version because there's no reason. But you could, before, people who would use App2 with paid credits, they would see how many credits the prompt cost. Yeah, this was another issue that Lovable was having, is that it was not transparent enough with how many credits it was burning, but they sort of patched it a bit early on, so that was fine. There was no issue, no particular issue there. Now, if you go to the project settings, there's a whole bunch of things. There's another world that unlocks right in front of your eyes. You've got your social preview and your favicon that you can update. You can update all of these. You also have all the settings to link your Supabase, to link your GitHub repository. And these are for a bit more advanced users, yeah? So you can just select where you want to migrate to repository and you get the code ownership on your side. You can also move the deployment to your own Vercel. As you saw, it generated, as you saw, the project had generated its own Vercel link. That means it's hosted on App2 side. However, if you attach your own Vercel, you can own the deployment pipeline too. So it gives you more, it makes it more democratized. And credits where it's due. Lovable did a good thing recently. It actually allows you to export like your super base configuration, all that stuff. But this was implemented before Lovable came to do that. But credit where it's due. I'm being fair here. Obviously, Stripe payments you can integrate, and then you got a security center. What is a security center? Well, it allows you to manage your environment variables in a safe way to create an env file. It also allows you to manage your super base secrets directly from App2. And obviously, there's a security audit, but I didn't get around integrating it at that point before deciding to make it open source. So it was always like coming soon sort of thing. Now, we have another concept on App2 called rule sets. And rule sets is an integral part of how you work with the platform. Rule sets are similar to cursor rules. If you use cursor, that you already know what rule sets are. But effectively, here are just a set of instructions on how should the AI work in regards to your project. And you can just add a custom rule if you want. You can give it a name, and you can always reference it, and it's always available in your code base. So you can always work with it. There are some default rules that you can't delete, but you can overwrite. So you have guidelines, you have shared guidelines, you have web guidelines, you have all that kind of stuff that you can adjust. So this one is for, since this is a web project, you can see web guidelines here. If we were to go to the, let me go back to my mobile project. Settings, rule sets. It would be mobile guidelines once it loads, you see, because it knows that this is a mobile project, so it would load mobile guidelines. Now, another very good thing is the docs manager, and docs is a bit different from rule sets. This allows you to have documentations for your project, and it helps the LLM be up to date with what you have built. So it's not really rule sets in terms of the architecture, it's more like documentation in terms of your core features. So let's say you are adding a new feature to your application. Instead of writing a prompt, oh, please document this for me, this change, or keep this up to date. Sometimes you forget to do that. Sometimes you have out of date documentation. Whereas with App2, you can just have it sent in here. Auto docs enabled. So it will automatically update all the documentation regarding your features, maybe some other things that you decide to do, and you can always add custom documentation. You can just add it here, create a file name, and then select the documentation, add it, and type whatever you want to type in here. Yeah. And you have the custom domains. So as long as you have a Vercel integration, you can have custom domains, and you can also update SEO settings. You can update your meta tags, your description, and you can also decide which robots and which search engines can access, and you can add other user agents. So one very helpful thing is that there's a thing called GEO, which is for LLM. It's pretty much search engine optimization for ChatGPT and Claude and all that kind of stuff. So they have their own robots. So that these robots, they are going through your website to collect information and make it possible for your website, for your service to be visible pretty much on the search engines of the LLMs. You can manage it here. If you are building something that does not that should not be fetched by robots or should not be indexed by robots, you can just go ahead and remove this. You can just press this, and that's it. And it's not gonna Google search is not gonna crawl your website or your application or your service anymore. If you want to add a custom agent, you can do that as well. You can define the user agent. You can find a friendly name for that for you to be able to refer back to it later. And you can determine whether that particular agent should be allowed to crawl or not. And again, everything has documentation. You see, I press here, SEO docs. There's a documentation at the top right corner of all the settings, and it gives you a nice bit of information of how everything works. And this is going to be available as well. So it explains what meta descriptions are, what page styles are, how to use the whole platform. It's there. It's all documented. And obviously you have team members you can add, you have workspace settings you can work with, subscription and billing history will be removed. They're not really necessary. I mean, on the open source version, you don't really need them. And then we move to the creme la creme of coding agents, support with coding agents and things like that. Integrations. You can manage integrations with Figma, you can manage with Supabase, Vercel, Stripe, GitHub, bring your own keys if you wish. And now this is going to become the forefront, because you will be, as long as you use the open source version, you'll be able to use your ChatGPT and Claude Code subscriptions. Yeah, if you pay for the subscriptions, you don't really need to pay extra for any credit. Obviously, you wouldn't have paid for credits, but I mean, you can bring your own subscriptions. So you immediately get pretty much almost virtually unlimited lovable alternative approach, effectively. Then you have the Context 7, which provides you real documentation, and I made a funny thing too that allows you to connect your Reddit account, and if you're on the App2 dev subreddit, you can start building from there, but I'll probably deprecate this because it's just a gimmicky thing I wanted to do one afternoon. And that's pretty much it in that case. Now, there's a whole bunch of other things that you would be able to do, but it's not yet available. Yeah, I mean, here, if you go to type a prompt, you can choose your Supabase project, you can choose your GitHub organization, you can add it, you can do things. But there's been a roadmap which I was following, but it might get updated depending on what people want from the community. But what I want to say again is that this has been quite a wild journey. Yeah, it's like 6 months of work as a solo developer, solo founder, solo developer. There was no team behind this, and it might sound like a bit of bragging and so on and so on, but it really isn't. There's no the code base itself is not a fork of something else. It is mostly bespoke, excluding, and very big thanks to the open code guys. And I've referenced them on the product hunt page. This is the coding agent that powers App2 behind the scenes when it runs in the sandboxes. They did an amazing job. So very big props to these guys. And of course, separate props to Daytona, not the racing thing, but the in AI, the sandbox infrastructure. This is the service that creates the sandboxes for the coding agent to run in. These guys have done incredibly good work. Anything I say will be short of any praise they can get. They are the real MVPs. Very, very, very good work. Props to OpenCode and Daytona. They power like 80% of the actual requirements for this thing to be properly orchestrated. But other than that, it's like, this has been a solo effort. 6 months of work with 16 hours a day of work. And yeah, it was, I have to say it was fun, and it is fun, and this is not going to pretty much end, I believe. All I want to say is big thanks for the community, to the dev community, for helping with raising all this awareness. Again, if you check my threads, there's got almost, it's still getting views. It's like 28.2k, and there's more coming. Overwhelming amount of praises and comments and supportive comments and all that kind of stuff. There's also the Reddit post here. Very big support, 81k views. This is maybe more now, 82. It's still going up. So I just wanted to get it off my chest after I got that rejection letter, yeah, because it felt, in my opinion, that it was unfair. And let me show you one final thing before I switch off. It's 8 o'clock. I need to go to my wife. We can watch a movie. So it's getting late, and tomorrow is Tuesday. So we just got work. If I go to the application, if I can say one last thing, there's the apply for this job button here. If you press that, you can fill in some information, you have full name, email, and all that kind of stuff. I filled all this. The earliest date to join, what you can expect, compensation expectations. These are the 3 questions, okay? Why do you want to join Lovable specifically, and what makes you a great fit? I mean, if I tell you, I'm going to tell you that I did not use any ChatGPT to generate any answers for these fields. And you can believe me or not, it's up to you, but I did not use any ChatGPT. I wrote things with my own way, with my own words. I explained to them why I want to join Lovable and what makes me a great fit. And I'll answer now on this stream. I wanted to join Lovable because I've been a frustrated Lovable customer myself, and I took it upon myself to go and talk to other frustrated customers to determine what Lovable lacks, what it needs to focus on, what are the things that are missing there that would make it a great platform. Yeah? I want to join because I want to help. Well, I wanted to join because I want to help. And what makes me a great fit is the fact that I spent 6 months trying to do that without any sort of ulterior motive really or anything like that. It was just literally, it started as a side thing and then became more serious as I went on. So what makes it a great fit is the result is this 1 hour of live stream that I'm going through about with all the features, everything that I've explained through the past hour, but compacted in a few sentences because you can't really literally write 1 hour worth of stuff on the application. That was the answer to this question. What is the most impressive thing you've done in your career? I would say, to answer you, I guess, publicly, is App2. And if you want to know what this is, just go and watch the 1 hour of this stream to understand the whole thing about it. Yeah. And is there anything else you'd like us to know about you? Well, I would say that I'm a dedicated person who loves building products, who sees things through end to end, and I believe I can bring some fresh insights. I don't know if it's fair to say. You guys can judge. Everybody who's watched this stream and who's going to watch the video later. The other live stream got like 100 something views maybe. I don't know. Like, you guys can judge in your own, I guess, reasonable way. So these are the answers I gave them, roughly, in a textual form. Yeah? So there you go. Submit application. That's what I pressed. And that's about it. I mean, this was the whole thing. And this is the result. So that's what I mean, this 1 hour live stream that I've done now, 10 minutes of those would be enough to provide millions in additional ARR revenue to Lovable. The first 10 minutes of me starting talking, not the first 10 minutes from the video stream. The first 10 minutes of me starting talking. The very first feature of the Figma, that's already a huge audience. That would have been already, even if they took it and they rejected me, that would have been so much better. Like, fine, we're just going to take your idea. We don't want to hire you. Maybe we don't like you. Fine, that's fine. That would have been fine. That would have been like acceptable within reason. That, okay, it's not like I had any sort of expectations in terms of being hired if I did this. I had an aspiration, yeah. I had like a goal, but the expectation was like, I do this, I do this for 6 months and I take the risk, quote unquote, to do this, but it's because I want to move the industry forward. And since I've been a Lovable customer and I liked how Lovable started and all that, I thought that would be the best place to reach out to and to show that. Yeah. So I guess that's pretty much it. I don't know if they're gonna reach out to me or not after all this. I don't know if anybody else is gonna reach out, but I don't really mind. All I'm gonna say is that building this whole thing and seeing it through is something that I feel good about myself, and it's something that I feel proud for what I've done. And I really wish I had a team, because if and I don't mean to brag this, but if I can do it by myself within 6 months, there are brighter engineers and brighter people and smarter and more creative out there that if we worked together, we could have outdone this. We could have shipped 10 times as much in 1 month. I'm telling you, in 1 month. This has been 6 months of work, and that was including research, interviews, talking, this, a whole bunch of other soft skills side things aside from coding. Coding was sort of maybe the least time consuming stuff. And you can see it. You can see it. Let me show you the repo, well, part of it. Let me show you the insights. You can see it here. If you go to contributors. This is the contributor graph for the whole period of the existence of this repository. I mean, you can see it here. Build something, stop. That was the feedback time. Build, stop. Reiteration. Build a bit, reiteration, more. Reiteration, more. Reiteration, more. Even more. That was the final push. Like, that was 19th October. The product got released October 20th. And then slowly, gradually reacting to bugs and all that kind of stuff from the launch. So you can see it in this graph here. 587 commits. This is how the timeline looks. Obviously, I can't tell you who exactly gave what kind of feedback. These people might not want to be targeted or talking about, so I will never give this away. But if you are within the realm, if you're within the realm of reason, you would probably understand that nobody would just go and build this out of nothing without getting any feedback. Yeah, you can't just really go ahead and speed run through building this whole entire platform without actually talking to people to understand what they lack in reference to what they already have. Yeah. So, I guess this is pretty much it. This is App2. This is 6 months of work. Yes, Hall. I think that was even an AI filtered system that rejected me, but I guess it's still a rejection without interview anyway. So I don't know if you guys have any last minute questions before I sign off, but I would like to thank everyone for watching this, and for everyone who tuned in and who's going to tune in when the VOD becomes available. I hope this gets shared with, I guess, people, and yeah, 6 months of solo work. That's the result. Cool. Thank you, Hall. Much appreciated. Cool. Yeah, I didn't have anything specific planned. Like I didn't read through a script. This is just all, like, you guys can see from the way that I'm talking about it and describing everything. This has been 16 hours a day for 6 months. Solo. Yes, also on the side, I tried to maybe do the entrepreneurial way, talk to some investors. I did that as well. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It has to be said that, like, a person would be foolish not to try, in my opinion. I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody, but you would be, well, maybe not foolish, but you would be naive not to try and talk to investors, yeah, to get their feedback. But this is pretty much it. This is what Lovable missed out, and what can I say? I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some gaps in their hiring process. If I don't know if they're gonna get back to me ever or anything like that. I don't know, but it doesn't really matter that much anymore, because, well, I just gave everything I wanted to on that phone call, on the interview that never materialized. That's what I would have probably sort of tried to do in a way. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and yeah, go have a very good rest of your evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And yeah, stay tuned on my socials. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.